I would like to introduce our two guest speakers, Mr. Anuj Gupta and Mr. Steve Roberts. Mr. Anuj Gupta, sir, it is a pleasure to have you and welcome you to our this 1 hour webinar where we are going to connect and we are going to ask and learn a lot of things. Sir is the president of Delhi Soccer Association and Sudeva Football Club. With extensive leadership in Indian football, Mr. Gupta has played a significant role in strengthening grassroots sports ecosystem and promoting structured youth development through football. His work focuses on creating pathways for young athletes while ensuring that sports environments support not only performance but also the overall development, well-being and also the protection of children. Today, he will share insights on the evolving role of sports in shaping healthier and more supportive spaces for young players. Welcome once again, Anuj sir.
Thanks a lot, Sunana, for organizing such a webinar, and I'm very happy to be in this webinar. And especially, I would also like to thank all the participants, parents, school teachers, school leaders, all the stakeholders who are, I would say, a part of every child's upbringing.
Yes.
So yeah, thank you, and yeah, I'm excited to share my experience and the knowledge I gained while I've been in this sport for over 10 years.
Thank you so much, Anuj sir. Now we have Mr. Steve Herbots. Am I pronouncing your name correctly, sir?
My name is a little bit more difficult than that pronunciation. So thank you very much, first of all, to having me here.
Yes.
I'm a little bit, as I already said, I'm apologizing a little bit that I'm on outside, but I'm in the middle of a match here going on with the club that I'm coaching.
Yes, sir.
So my name is Steve Herbots, which has a more of a Belgium and German pronunciation. And I am head of academy at Sudeva at this point, and I have experiences in Europe, Africa, and Asia with kids and juniors from all ages, and with seniors also.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Steve, sir. Steve has over almost 4 decades of experience working with children in the field of football, in nourishing them, in guiding them across 3 continents. And his work emphasizes balancing that excellence in performance as well as the emotional, psychological, as well as physical safety and well being of those children, of those young players. And in today's conversation, even though he's there with us for a very short time, he will help us explore how sports institution can create environments where children not only compete but also grow, learn, and thrive themselves. So let's begin the webinar. So Anuj sir, Steve sir, I have few questions to ask you. There will be about 6 questions that I'll ask, and then we will open the chat box for our participants, and they can put in their questions there, or they can share any suggestions or any statements that they want to. So let's begin.
Yeah.
My first question to both of you is, in your experiences throughout these many decades of experience that you have working with young children or young adults, like, can you please share your perspective on how sports play, on what role sports play in a child's overall development and also well-being?
Steve, would you like to start? Maybe then I can join you, or
Yes, that's good for me. With the experience that I've had over all these years, working from some amateur youth, local kids to top professional players on the highest level of European football, I've always had the understanding that sports is a key opponent for a child's education, a child's well-being. And it is not just a key opponent, but it's something that a lot of times will help a kid also in improving their scholarship, in improving their education, especially if the right balance and the right connections are being made through the child's upgrowing and through the possibilities that sports gives them with different cultures, with different people around them, with different age groups. And at the end, especially because I've worked on different continents, you see a huge difference in the different continents and in the different places that I've worked. But most of the time, the right combination helps a kid develop to become a better human being, and gives them the opportunity to learn also outside of the classrooms.
Yes, that's
Well,
very true.
yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry.
Thank you, Steve, sir. Anuj, sir.
Yeah, Sunena. So I just want to add, in terms of my experience running an academy, residential academy in the heart of Delhi, where my youngest kid who was staying inside is 11-year-old, uh, and also owning a club in Spain for 6 years, where the youngest kid was 5 year, who was obviously not part of the residential but was part of the academy, in the heart of Valencia. So I just want to explain the difference in terms of how the parents and the teachers see a Spanish child who's growing, from the age of 5 onwards, and compared to a child who's growing from 5 years in India. We see sport as a mean of earning, uh, which I feel is not the right way of bringing a child into the sport.
Like they
So
see
when I
it as a medium of livelihood.
yes, medium of livelihood. So globally, sport is, if the developed sports nations, the parents do not see the sport as a way of livelihood. They
Hmm.
initially make sure that it's a way of life.
Ji.
So way of livelihood and way of life is very different, and that's where I feel the difference lies.
Yeah.
That are we bringing a child because we think that he's talented or she's talented, and that's why we want to make him or her a player going forward, or we want to bring the child into sports because we want to have a much healthier life, self safety, and in total overall development. So I think that's where I feel that the ecosystem in India, or all the stakeholders in India, we need to we need to educate everyone, including us, that sports should become a way of life, not a way of livelihood to start with. Obviously, as the child grows up, we come to know everyone comes to know that the child has a talent in which sport or in what part of the sport. And that's where the parents, the teachers, the principals, the coaches, everyone should try to motivate the child in that direction. But initial stage is very important, that we have to bring the child into the sport, because that definitely makes a difference in terms of the mentality of a child when it comes to uh, winning or losing. So I just want to tell all the listeners that we have to bring the child into sports, not because we think, so for instance, cricket has a future, we all think. So the child should play cricket. No, I feel the child should play a sport depending on his talent, which only later on we come to know at the age of 9, 10. That's the time when we decide. But if a sport doesn't have a future, uh, but he really plays well, we should not stop the child from playing that, because just because the sport doesn't have a future. Because at the end of the day, in India, such a diverse country, let me tell you, if you become good in any sport you play, you will be able to make a future out of the sport. So I personally feel that this is, I think I wanted to tell that in Spain, for instance, when the parents bring the child into a sport, the parent makes sure that they come on the weekends to the game. They are standing with him when he's playing the game, because it's not about winning or losing. It's more about that the parent is there. So child is always motivated because let me tell you, every child, either the mother or the father, they are their heroes. So when the child's hero is watching, that is it. That is where we change the way we look at the sport. So I think it's very important that we always want to touch, or we always want to reach the sky or stars. But I think it's very important that we need to start doing, initial steps nicely, and without having any self selfish motive of making a child into a superhero.
Yep. Thank you both,
So
Mr. Steve and Mr. Anuj. Like you have correctly said that the ultimate aim of, let's say, if our children are excelling in sport, it should not be that. The ultimate aim should not be to make money. The one of the important elements should be obviously to sustain yourself by earning that livelihood. But
no,
you know
no, but
that,
no. So Nana, that only comes later.
yeah, that only comes
Most of
later.
the children do not.
Yes,
Most of the children are not playing from the age of 4 5 in India,
yes, they
and
have.
that is the biggest problem. Only when you are 15, 16, 17, then only we know that you will
Yeah, they
become
have the
professional
potential.
players or not.
Yeah.
So, but what you do from the age of 4
Hmm.
to 14 is the key,
Yes.
and we need to put them into multiple sports, not only one. So yeah.
Yeah. And also, what you said that, in other cultures, in other countries, we can also see that element of the children's parents coming up to their small tournaments or big tournaments, whatever, and they are just cheering on them. So that is just such a big motivation. Our own parents are cheering them, and we also don't want to, when we are playing that sports ourselves, we also don't want to disappoint them and give our best performance. So that is a very good motivator. So yeah, so correctly what they both said, that if we see our children excelling in any sports, first of all, let's put them in a sport and see if they are interested in, if they are good at it, and if they are, so why not support them, right?
And one more thing I want to add,
Yes.
that it should not matter whether it's a boy or a girl.
Yeah.
I think in India we have a very very wrong misconception
Yeah.
that girls cannot play physical sport. I personally feel that that is, I think, generally we think that the girl should go into music, girl should go into dance, girl
Performative
should,
arts. Yeah.
yeah. But why? I
Yeah.
mean, we need to ask the child. Let the child be given opportunity to, to do everything,
Explore. Yeah.
explore, and then, So I feel that we should not be gender biased when
Yes.
it comes to getting the child into the sport.
Yes. Thank you so much. Now let's move on to the next question. Mr. Steve, you are the head of elite youth development at Sudeva Football Club. You are also the head coach over there. And Mr. Anuj, you not only are you the president of your the football club, the Sudeva Delhi Football Club, but also you are the president of the Delhi Soccer Association, right? So when you are in these positions of responsibility, you know how do you pursue child safeguarding is there in sports? How do you ensure children are safe in sports? And safe does not only limit to just physical safety. Obviously they are playing a physical sport, they tend to get hurt, but what else? What do you do? And what does the concept of child safeguarding in sports actually means, and why is it becoming very increasingly important today, in today's time and age?
Steve.
Yes, it's especially from a residential academy house is a little bit different than when a kid comes to training session and goes back home immediately after the session with their parents or grandparents. So when they are almost a full year as a residential and they are staying with us, a lot of times we are not only teacher of them, we are not only sometimes we need to be hard on them also because there are certain things that they need to learn. But a lot of times we are also their father. We are also sometimes like their grandfather. Because, as we said, there are kids who are from a younger age who are coming in. There are kids from different backgrounds, from different cultures. And at the end, we need to see that we can make, at the end, the kids come to a good childhood, that we can see that they are safe at any environment, and that they also um, have a perfect way or better way to grow up, even when they are far away from their family, and even when they are far away from everyone around them. So we are at that point, we are for a long time in their childhood, and sometimes we are talking about 8, 9, 10 years in a row. We are their family from a distance, but we are much closer to them. So we need to see that the kids at the end are growing up to have a good future, and that at the end that they feel safe within the environment that they are.
Yeah, so I'll just add to that. In terms of child safety, when it comes to an association president, as an association president, I try to make it very very clear that every academy should have or try to have an insurance, so that God forbidden, if there is any kind of injuries, the child is insured. Either the academy insures or the parent insures, because the first safety is the physical safety, in terms of the child keeps on playing, because that's the last thing we want, that in during the growing part of his life, he gets injured, because every injury reduces the capacity of the body to grow to its maximum. And so that is one of the things which we I always try, to educate every academy club, in terms of the insurance, in terms of the other safety, in terms of the you know how boys and girls have to interact to each other when it comes to a lot of these residential academies or setups, because what tend to happen is that a lot of times they don't go to school, and when they don't go to school, the development of how they have to behave in terms of overall is not developed, because when you go to school, then only a lot of these things get developed. And so as a part of our upbringing in the residential particularly, we make sure that these things are taken care. uh, as an association, we also there's a lot of lot of problems of age frauds. Yeah, so in a way that when a overage kids plays with an underage, again the safety problem again happens, because the injuries have a higher possibility, because it's like a youth body to a mature body. These problems can happen, so we make sure that certain tests are taken, so that medically, the players who are of the similar age can
Yeah.
play together, rather than in terms of their passport or ID, ages are same, but in terms of their physicality it has changed. So we make sure that the right physical players are playing among themselves, and the so I think, so that also helps in terms of
Yeah.
bridging or protecting the
Yes.
safety part of it. Plus, I think overall the education given to the staff, to all the children, I think is a must, in terms of what are the how does the first aid, first medical aid is done if some certain injuries happen on the spot.
Yeah.
What are the protocols one has to do, even if you are a player? So sometimes the physio is not there, and if the players know how to handle the situation, so a lot of times injuries can be safeguarded. And we also make sure that ambulances are there during our matches, so that God forbidden, if some big injury happens, we have an ambulance which can take immediately the child to the hospital. So I think that is more physically demanding safety we are talking about.
Yeah.
But in terms of the psychological,
Yeah.
the mental side of safety, which
Yeah.
the child
Almost.
has,
Yep. Yep.
yeah, that is something which obviously with time we come to know.
Yeah.
Because for instance, in our residential we have children from 27, 28 states. So and they are generally, most of them are underprivileged. So we are not aware of what problems they are bringing. And when they bring those problems here, it's only with time, with counseling, we come to know that that the problem is not on the ground. The problem is historical.
Yeah.
And that's where counseling is very important to safeguard any kind of mishaps, any kind of psychological problems which any child can face. So I think, again, I talk about parents are the best counselors for the children, as friends, rather than being parents, because a lot of time children get scared of the parents, so they never speak out their
Or
problems
share
with the
anything.
parents
Yeah.
or share anything. So they try to find someone who they can share. But I feel that if one of the parent is a friend also with the child, then child will always be able to express the psychological problems which they face in school.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, both of you. I just want to. I got a question in the chat box related to that. So the question is that these this the early years in which the children are especially growing between the ages of 11 to up until 18, 19, when they are going through puberty. So that is the time that they are seeing a lot of physical changes, that they are experiencing a lot of emotional changes also. And this is the time when they have, let's say, insecurities, and they try to bully their team players or their classmates or their batchmates, right? And so what kind of safeguarding uh, uh, policies does your academy follow with respect to addressing such issues also? Because yeah, this age, this adolescence age, is also a very important prime time where they are figuring themselves out and they are expressing themselves very extremely. So what do you have to say in
uh,
that? How can What is your strategy, what is your policy?
uh, Steve.
As coaches is a bit different than as an owner or sometimes a person who is in a board. Especially
Yep.
as coaches, we are in a direct contact with every child at all
Yes.
times within the academy, on the pitch and off the pitch. There is a lot of hours that we are observing them, that we are, it's not only talking, because a lot of times when someone will be bullied, and it happens everywhere. It happens in a classroom, it happens outside the classroom, it will happen for sure on and off the pitch also. So what is very important is that at the end it is not just what a kid says, but it's for sure what you see, what they can be doing in the meantime. And for us, it is important to feel, is there something going on with a person? Is there something different than usual? And sometimes it will take a time, even as a coach who is daily busy with the players, to actually understand what is the problem even before they say something. And sometimes it is just with all the years of experience that you see something quicker. The same like a teacher would be, who's someone for many, many years inside the classroom, who will understand quicker than someone who's completely new in a classroom. So for us, it's the same thing. And the moment that we see something happening, first we are going to listen to the child without asking questions that are giving an answer immediately or that are proposing an answer. We are going to we are going to ask very open questions for them to talk. And then if we get to know that something happens, We will also talk to the person that is doing it. We will
Yeah.
also bring them maybe together to see
Yeah.
what can be the solution. So
Yeah.
there is the whole process that we try to follow
Yeah.
before we even go and say, oh, but is this what is happening? This is the judgment. No, first, there's a lot of steps that we need to do
Yes.
before we can even start thinking about
Yeah.
making an assumption or making a solution. And I think that with experience, you start sensing a lot of things. And still, with experience, sometimes it can come out of the blue without you really having an idea.
Okay. Thank
Uh,
you, Steve, sir. Yes. Yes,
well,
sir.
I'll add to Steve that
Okay.
for instance, in our residential academy, we have made for every age category prefect, deputy prefect, so that they act as representative of the goods and the bad in terms of the age category.
Yeah.
If suppose, because we have made sure that 6 days out of 7 days they are not allowed to have mobile phones.
Mm.
Only on Sundays we allow them to have mobile phones. So imagine, during this day and age, for 6 days they don't have a mobile phone.
Yeah.
So now, so earlier we used to give 2 hours every day, but now we have stopped. Only
Mm.
on Sundays they get. So now what has happened is that now they have started communicating to each other.
Yeah. Okay.
Because again, I'm saying it's all about communication. It's all about
Yes.
sharing what you're going through. And that is
Yes.
why we have created these prefects and deputy prefects for every age categories. Plus, we have every 2 to 3 weeks we do on a no name basis 5 good things you like about the residential inside, and five things you want to improve.
Mm.
And if you want to put your name, that's fine. If you don't, it's okay. So
Yes.
with that, what happens is that we are able to understand
Yes.
on an average, on a majority basis, what are the things we as owner or
Yes.
we as a academy we need to improve on, and
Yes.
what are the things with the child is liking it.
Yes.
Because let me tell you, children uh, do not lie.
Yeah.
This is the way I believe. The child will only lie when he's scared.
Mm.
When the child is not scared, he doesn't lie or she doesn't lie. So I think we need to make the children scare free, so that they can talk their heart. So I think for every policy or every practice we try to create inside is where we are giving them the freedom to
Yeah.
enjoy, make friends from other parts of the country who are part of the residential academy, so that they become more again multilingual very naturally. Plus they also try to you know uh,
Be respectful of
open.
each other's culture
Yes,
also.
yes, because what happens is that children like to be in their group of their community.
Yeah.
So this is something which I want to try to slowly break, so that
Yes.
they come out of their community and they're able to make friends from other communities. Because once they start doing that, the again I'm talking about them being scared of how they will be judged outside the community.
Yeah.
And that's where once they stop thinking about how the other kid will judge me, or the my seniors will judge me,
Yeah.
he or she will be very very happy.
Yeah.
And I think if they're happy, then I think all systems should be are successful in my case, in my eyes.
Yes. Thank you so much, both of you. I think what Mr. Steve and Mr. Anuj have shared is such a beautiful example of what we also school can, do in making the best, whatever the best judgment is in the best interest of child, right? And in order to do that, we need to encourage them to participate, to communicate, to talk to each other. And these are their best practices that they have found out. They have also found out a way where they can, use peer learning and peer support in the best possible way. The idea of anonymity, and also to share, what they like, what they don't like, is such a great example. So because, whatever we are doing in life as an adult, these are for children only. Whether telling them that honesty is the best policy, or telling them that okay, no, bullying is not a good practice, So whatever we are doing is that it's just for the child's best interest. And I think both of them have shared their experience in how they are ensuring that these best practices are done with children and for children. So thank you so much. Now moving on, you know, I have one more question. So the question is like, besides training themselves in sports, you know, for the children who are, preparing to be, let's say, an athlete in future, or are athletes currently, what kind of education and support do these young adults need for their growth, on and off field?
Every sort of education.
Steve,
Yes, every sort of education is important, and that starts with what for us what happens on the field, first of all. But what they learn off the field is so much more. And it at the end, it's not just that we do ball practices without a meaning behind it. There's a lot of ball practices that we do where is, for example, there's a method that we call brain central learning. And this sometimes, and this will be further used inside the academy here also, is where sometimes we are going to use different languages within the training session. We are going to link it to mathematics, for an example. We can be linking it to so many opportunities that they can learn. But what do we do also with kids? We at the club we do analysis, for an example. So they do analysis of other teams. They do analysis of their position. They need to be able to talk in front of their teammates, or they need to be able to talk in front of the media. So we are learning them much more than just what you do with a ball. We are learning them to have their own opinion. We are learning them today to ask questions. We are learning them to do critical thinking. So there's a whole process behind the development of an athlete, which is for sure not only say it is in football or in basketball or in swimming. It's for sure not only what you do within the sport. There is so much more that they need to get on and off the pitch, because if the brain doesn't work optimal within a sports environment, especially as difficult as football, because something what people need to understand, football is not an individual sport. You are linked to at least 21 other people on the pitch, because there is 22 in the two teams, but you are on your own, so there's 21 other people. You need to understand where are the spaces. You need to understand where the passing possibilities are. You need to have a quick brain thinking in where can I bring the next ball, where do I need to do a control. So if we would only focus what would happen with the ball, a person or a young person would not even be able to reach their potential in any sport. And as I said, a difficult sport as football, because you are not linked on yourself. You are linked with so many other opportunities and so many other possibilities. So we need to see that their brain is being used optimal on and off the pitch, and that we can only do by helping them on and off the pitch with so many learning moments, which are not only linked towards the sport.
Got it.
uh,
Thank you so much.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
I'll just add. I mean, I'll be quick in this. That it's been 10 years, and I I was just trying to understand, why are children not as confident as, as a student I see, or as a student come player I see in Europe. Uh, and I'm talking about athlete to athlete, and I'm only talking about football because that has been my experience. What I analyzed was that on the ground they're very expressive, and they're able to, be angry, be whatever, patient, whatever, everything they show it through a football, or how they play without the ball or with the ball. But the moment the game gets over, then then they are part of their own group, where they are confident to talk to no matter how many boys or girls are there, but in that group. but otherwise they lack confidence, they lack the, again, the power of acceptance. How to work on that character development is something which we will be implementing from April. Is that, we asked all the boys and girls that also write, if you don't become a player, what would you like to become, so as an hobby. So now we'll be giving them an additional hobby classes, so that, what if, they don't become a footballer, but he was already a good drummer.
Yeah.
And if you give him that option, he might become a great drummer. The idea is that, you are born in whichever family, whether poor or rich, he or she should have equal rights. And child, it doesn't matter, whether you are born in any family, a child will always have a dream,
Yeah.
and child will always enjoy doing something which he loves, and something he wants to become. So something what he wants to become becomes his, like a profession or whatever, and something he likes to do, which can become a hobby. So for that we'll be, so I think, if in Europe, that is a part of their upbringing, that, along with playing, you need to also have one music, one language, so at least you get multiple
Yeah.
way of interacting with other people who are enjoying that.
Yes.
So, or, who are learning that, and that's where I think the real character comes out. So
Yes.
this is something which I tell all the parents, that, it's not only about sport, but along with the sport, you give that person, element of, music, dance, instrument, language, and because these are all education, plus, the curriculum of school
Yes.
learning. So
Yes.
if you are able to do all these things from the child, I'm telling you, the children will be so confident
Yes.
that, will make them successful.
Thank you, both of you. I mean, you both of you very beautifully said one thing that really strongly resonated with me, is that, education, academics is one of the skills. Sports is a skill. Pursuing a hobby is a skill. All these contributes to making that person into a better person, a better human. And obviously, regardless of what background any child comes from, they all have a right to all these educations, all sports, right? They have a right to development. These are their basic rights. They have a right to equal opportunity. And I come from one of the states in the northeast, and there I see what all you have said. I have seen that in my family, in my community, with my parents, that yeah, when a child is the child has to study, the child has to study, but the child also has the right to, enjoy a performative art, or pursue a performative art, as well as, participate in sports. And the family, the child's parents are there to cheer them. Not everyone in the northeast are affluent, but the community is there. The community is there to support them. The community here means the family as well as the school. So thank you so much. Now I have two more questions. I'll quickly take those questions, and then we will open the floor to our participants who are eagerly waiting to ask or share something. So quickly, I'll ask my next question. So we right now we are living in the age of AI. We are living in the age of extensive use of social media, of the cyberspace, which is which has two sides of the coin. As it is as useful for us, but it is also very scary, especially for our children, because what happens on the cyberspace is something that we cannot predict. And also it's very difficult for us to save ourselves from the harm of the cyberspace, especially the children, right? So I just want to know both of your perspective, that how can the technology, how can the internet, the cyberspace, enhance sports education and training for our young athletes? In what way can it be beneficial for us, and in what way can we ensure that they are safe for us and our children?
So AI and social media, especially social media, has been quite a long time around already in sports. Also, there's a lot of the positive sides, but as you mentioned clearly, there's also a lot of negative sides which especially in top sports. You can't always handle because there is supporters hate, there is supporters bullying, there is everything going on outside the pitch also. I'm very sorry that there's a bit of noise on the background, but the match is just finished here.
That is all right. We are
So
enjoying it. We're enjoying the
so
Buras.
so at the end, it's something at the moment, even in top sports environments, is something that is very, very difficult to always handle. And I know cases in Europe where people, supporters, have been put in jail because of cyberbullying from the opposing team and players, threatening of players, even death threatening that is happening. So there's a very thin and very dangerous line with AI, with cyber, with social media, where we can only try to do our best as much as possible. But it is a place where people can get hurt very, very badly, and especially at a younger age, but even at an older age, sometimes it's mentally very difficult. And I know of some top athletes who have stopped performing their sports because of the cyberbullying that was happening, and they were senior people, 25 plus, 28 plus, and they just stopped of the threatening that was happening, of the life threats to their family, of the life threats to their kids, for an example. So it is something that we need to try to look after, but it is something that is very, very difficult compared to if you had it on a visual one-on-one. If you had it on an individual one-on-one, at least you can see something. But what happens online is a lot of times you will only get to know many months later, and there's people who won't talk about it. So again, the point of trying to understand your players, trying to understand the children who are on a daily basis with you is very important. Um, but it's sometimes a very dangerous moment also.
Thank you, Steve, sir. Anuj, sir?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just want to just add that for growing children, I think technology, mobile phones, social media, uh, are not are I mean are relevant to the extent in terms of making their education easier, making their education more likable, rather than giving them opportunity to be on that front, and just doing like, subscribe, or follow, because I feel that you know बचपन कभी वापस नहीं आने वाला. तो बचपन के अंदर आई थिंक इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट for us, because we are not from that technology era. We are from that era when mobile phones had not even started in our youth. It was TV which had started,
Yes.
right? So and we still miss those days. So I feel that if we are giving similar ecosystem to our youth, our grassroots students, let me tell you, we can see our country going back to 1980s, 1990s, where uh, where parents used to say that, please come back, come back. Nowadays the parents say, please go out, play, because most of them are on the mobile phones. So
Yes.
I feel that mobile phones should be taken, and parents should not be scared of what is happening outside.
Yeah.
I mean, वो डर से तो क्या होगा, मैं आई अंडरस्टैंड, मतलब कि डर तो रहेगा, बट ट्रैफिक बढ़ गया है, हर चीज बढ़ चुकी है, तो सबको होता है कि यार मोबाइल फोन तो दे दो, पर ठीक है, नोकिया का दे दो मोबाइल फोन, जिसके अंदर आप कोई भी गेम्स नहीं खेल सकते, आप कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते. इट इज जस्ट यूज फॉर कॉलिंग
Yeah.
and receiving. So I feel that in terms of technology, yes, lot of everything is now we can record when it comes to matches. That match can be analyzed through softwares, and then the analysis can be given to children so that they can understand their game better.
Yeah.
They can keep their dietary requirements through the app so that they know what they're eating, how many grams they're eating. So what I'm saying is they have all those things to keep their checks and balances.
Yes.
But in terms of using mobile phones as a way of chilling or enjoying, I
Yeah.
think then we are definitely, the children are wasting their bachpan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, for example, the cyberspace is very unpredictable and very scary, like especially when children are, trying to make friends with or acquaintances online whom they don't know, whom they have never met, or on, these gaming spaces also. So one way is to obviously strengthen your schools or your academies firewall, right? And the other way would be just, okay, if like, the earlier examples that you gave them the phone for 5 days, and then the one day that you gave them the phone which was on a Sunday, that also I am assuming that is not for the whole day, that is for some period of time. So that, and that also keeps a balance and check that, sometimes you don't have to scream and punish someone or shout at a child in order for them to understand the bad consequences. There are ways to do that. There are signs to show them that, okay, this is a bad thing or a good thing. So
No,
thank you so
Iskandar,
much,
one more
both
thing I
of
want
you
to
again.
add, that how sports can
Please go ahead.
help in terms of reducing,
Free time.
social media, bullying, or
Yes.
all that. Because the moment you start playing, obviously you get tired, so you have very limited time in terms of, sleeping, eating, studying, and playing. So you will always have very less time in mobile phones. And then when you start playing little better, then that's the last thing you want. That you want to try to make random friends, or all these things, because then you become more focused. So I think sports bring a lot
Yeah.
of focus. So these elements,
Yes.
which are hindrances, are
Yes.
very easily forgotten.
Oh, thank you so much. Now my last question is that, while I was growing up, while I grew up in Delhi, so I've seen all the sports field in Delhi, where it be basketball field, football field, athletics field. They schools in Delhi have huge spaces for those sports infrastructure for their children. But then there are some places, like unfortunately Bombay as a place, their schools struggle to have space in that, Cosmo city. And then sometimes there are situations where two three schools are sharing, let's say, one playground together, a nearby playground which is common to all the 4 or 5 schools that are there in the neighborhood. But then there are some schools which are being built in today's age and time which does not at all have sports facility. The only sports facility that I have seen in these new age school is that they have maybe a small playground for the children, right? Or it can be because of various reasons. It can be because of cost cut. It can be because of non-availability of an area of an infrastructure. It can be because they are not interested in these schools are not interested in sports as a form of development. It can be anything, right? But boarding schools in today's age and time, and some other cities and states where larger spaces are there, we can see sports infrastructure. So what do you both have to say regarding the diminishing, sports infrastructure that we see in today's age and time? You know, because we are seeing these spaces drastically disappear. So what do you both have to say? And how important is it, the sports infrastructure in school?
Um, from my background out, as I said, I come originally from Belgium, and I've worked in a couple of countries in Europe, but also in Africa. I can tell you that a lot of schools and a lot of educational institutions, and in Europe and in Africa, also don't have any infrastructure, sports infrastructure. But still, it's embedded in the culture. It's embedded in in the way of life. And the smallest area that they can use, they will use during every break, or they will use during every small time that they have. Because a lot of big cities in Europe, or a lot of upcoming cities in Africa, also don't have the space to put sports infrastructure. But because they are used to, from a very young childhood, to start doing whatever sport that they want to do, It's like I said, it's embedded in the culture. And the main difference, what I've noticed with my 4.5 years experience in India, where I've worked in Kolkata, Mumbai, and now in Delhi, is that if you go around during break times and during holidays, except in Northeast, because I've had the luck to travel around with football, of course. Except in Northeast and a couple of other places, you barely see kids playing outside anymore. You barely see kids doing any sports anymore. So somewhere, I think that some schools are also, yeah, just following what is in the culture at the moment, and it's for sure not good because, as we said and we've talked about it for the last hour almost, sports is part of education. Sports is part of a public upcoming of youths, and it has a place for everyone. Whatever sport you want to do, it has a place for everyone. But it's also a trend, as we talked about, kids being more on the phone and staying inside. It has become more dangerous to be outside. There are things happening with kids outside. So it's like a very difficult thin line where we are on right now. And it can go both sides. It can go back into a direction where sports will evolve more again, or sports can go backwards and have more individualization and more professionalism for a couple of people and not for the majority anymore. And I do not hope that that happens, but somewhere, as a professional in sports, as an educator in sports, it's somewhere a fear of what we've seen the last decades, even in Europe, that less and less kids are doing sports, less and less kids are being outside, and that has a drop back in talent. It has a drop back in people reaching certain levels. But on the other side, you got also more and more professionalism in that individualization. So it's a line where we're on right now, and it's a line that is coming within India also. And at a certain point, you will see some very super specialized institutions, and you will see some institutions who don't really bother about sports anymore. And that has been happening in Europe and Africa also. I'm very sorry, but the match is done here. So if you could apologize me that I can go, because we will have to turn back also direction the academy. So if you could let me go, and then if there's any further questions, I can still answer them at a later time if necessary.
No,
Is that
no,
okay?
no worry, Steve. Thank you so much for giving us your 1 hour, and hopefully it's congratulations in order. And please celebrate, and all the best wishes from our side to your team and to your players. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you very much. Thank you. See you. Bye.
Bye bye. Anuj sir, what do you have to say?
Yeah, I mean,
About this?
in terms of infrastructure, I think we put a lot of emphasis on making sports infrastructure
Hmm.
so that the children can have better place to train, play. But again, I say that our mentality, our
Yes.
Indian mentality is the developing mentality, the survival mentality, the way the economy is growing. Uh, uh, I mean, if you need infrastructure for creating an ecosystem, yes, then we need to have a good infrastructure. But
Yes.
if we need an infrastructure to make players, then let me tell you, I mean, for international level players, yes, we would need a great infrastructure. But to make domestic and national level players, we don't need that heavy investments. So I think the base level is very less when it comes to the number of kids playing. We need to increase that, and
Okay.
when that is increased at the top level, we will have already we are getting a lot of international events coming to India. So when
Yes.
international events are given to the Indian Olympic Association or the federations, automatically the infrastructure has to be developed by the central government.
Yes.
So I think that will happen. But at a school level, I think if I ask, I think every school should have a turf, because now we have good quality artificial turfs which can be used for multi-purpose,
So
which
can
can
you
be
explain turf in layman's language for those who don't understand, like me?
okay. So
Ji.
basically, it's a artificial grass, and
Okay.
depending on the length of the grass, we can use it for multi-purpose. For instance, for a football ground, we generally need 30 to 55 grass, which is the length. For a hockey, you need 15 For cricket, you can even play on a 30 So I think a lot of schools, for instance, if I talk about modern school Vasundhara, they have made artificial turf where they have a
Mm,
track also, where they have a small pitch also. So they are using it for multi-purpose. So
yeah.
I think with that thing in mind, the school infrastructure can be developed and maintained if artificial kind of a facility is made. It's a
Yeah.
one-time investment, but it stays for 10 years. The minimum guarantees for 10 years in terms of the maintenance.
And it's not very heavy on the pocket also, the
It's now because of the China and Vietnam also making it. I think it's much cheaper than the European made.
hmm.
And I think now school also have this option of giving it to someone who can develop it, and that third party can run the academy after school. So the school doesn't even have to worry about how to get coaches, how to make the ecosystem. Now there are companies, there are academies who are willing to take and develop the third party infrastructure for and run their academies.
Okay. And support
Um,
also themselves and the schools.
yes, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Anuj sir, for answering all my questions at least. Now I open the space for the audience. Although it's 5 p.m., I request everyone to, let's say, for 10 more minutes and ask and share anything that if they want to. So far, we have Miss Bala Saraswati who has raised her hand. Miss Bala, if you can unmute yourself and turn on your camera and ask us the question that you are willing to ask. Hello, Miss Bala. Hello, Miss Bala. Okay, so let's move on to the other participants who are there. If you have anything to ask or share, please unmute yourself and kindly ask your question to Anuj sir. He is, the president of the Delhi Soccer Association, as well as he's the president of Delhi Sudeva Football Club. So he can guide us on how to ensure that we support our children with respect to sports in school. So please unmute yourself and you can ask. Biswajit sir?
Yeah,
Hi sir.
hi, ma'am. I have a question. I know it is the common questions, but still I will ask. Just want to know, sir, in today's digital age, how to encourage students to take part in sports? Because what we find, perhaps this is the common problem in every school, children can't even stand for 1 hour, half an hour when there is any kind of, march past practice, or you say any kind of PT, so-called physical training. They don't have that stamina. So can you tell us how to actually encourage the children? Any kind of encouraging tips from your side, Mr. Gupta?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Bishwajit, Mr. Majumdar. I think the children needs inspiration. Children needs motivation. Children needs to feel that they are the best in the class. So I think giving from an early age any form of competition in any sport. We used to have sports day. I'm sure you have a sports day, and I still remember my first when I won the gold medal in one of my, in a shot put, I won a gold medal, and I was expecting that I'll win a shot put gold medal. But it stayed with me because I had a nice certificate. It still has it for the last 30 years. I have it. So what I'm saying is that from an early age, because we start from a sub junior category, but I think we need to start from grassroots. So to be honest, from the nursery, we need to start giving them, ways of enjoying through the medium of sport, because the moment you start from an early age, then it just becomes part of their I would say DNA. So because I know nowadays there are so many the academies all over. Now earlier there used to be no academies, so the children used to play in the games period. So I think we need to use the games period very very nicely. The zero periods have to be used for more physical exercise, or for giving children the opportunity of selecting one sport which they will be allowed to play during the zero period, because I know that the impetus is a lot more on education. But if we start giving little impetus on sports from an early age where getting marks is not important. We don't need to give impetus at the class ninth. We need to give impetus at the class 1. Because 1, 2, 3, for till 8 standard, to be honest, why they should be scared of thinking only about scoring marks. They should get marks for other activities they should do. So particularly if you want to imbibe them to play sports, give them marks. Give them. So I remember my maths teacher. He loved the sport so much that he said that anyone who does well outside the school in sports, I he will give points. He will give marks. So I used to prepare a book where whenever my name used to come in the newspaper, I used to cut that cutting and used to paste it. And then in the end he gave me marks. He gave me marks in my maths subject, which was counted. So I personally feel that always encouraged me to even play more. So I think, you being the principal, I think encouraging from the earliest ages in school will definitely keep our future intact.
Yeah. And for the current schools, sir, I'm sorry, for the current students, I mean, Anuj sir has given the little bits of tips on how we can use our zero periods as well as the PT periods, or activity periods to encourage them more. Thank you so much, Vishwajit sir, for asking that
Thank
question.
you so much.
Anyone else who wants to ask anything or share anything? Any other participant who wants to ask or share anything? All I can see is off cameras. One participant has asked in the chat box, sir, because of personal classes and maybe sometimes tuition, the schedule, students are not able to join sports, and parents give more importance for academics, and it's difficult for us as sports teacher to move or to encourage the children from focusing heavily more on academics and also simultaneously focusing on sports.
See,
Miss
I
Ashwani has asked this question. Miss,
thank you, Mr. Ashwani, for the question. I understand that the problem lies much deeper. It lies in our society, where obviously roti kapda makan, kahan se paisa aayega, kaise future safe hoga. So all these things, parents, a middle class family, they're always concerned about how their children will be. So uh, we cannot change the mentality of the general, the parents. But I think what we can do is we have to make sure that whatever time the child has during school, we are able to use the talented ones for making them better in the particular sport. So for that, yes, the school needs to have at least couple of teachers who are specializing in multi sports, so that they can make them more agile. I feel that in India, the kids lack in agility. We need to make the children more agile, more physically stronger kids, so that at least it that will directly help their studies. So I think the parents need to be educated, and they need to be counseled. We need to call them, and along with the principal, we need to tell them that the sport should become way of life,
yeah, they
rather
see
than rather than a
potential.
way of profession. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Just like we do everything, from date, we wake up, we sleep, we rest, we study, we eat. So why can't we play 1 hour a day?
Yeah.
No. So yeah.
I mean, Anuj sir, I mean, I never thought that we will come to this, statement in life कि अभी खेलने के लिए आपको बुलाना पड़ रहा है. You correctly said कि खेलने के लिए रोकना पड़ता था, बहुत खेल लिया, बस आप खा भी लो, थोड़ा सा जी भी लो और भी कुछ कर लो लाइफ में. So yeah, we have one more question. Miss Vani has asked us that in a highly competitive school sports environment, how we as adults as a support system can ensure that child's mental and emotional well-being is not compromised.
Um, See, in competitive in competitive ecosystem, we should never ever try to make the child feel that he or she has lost any game. Every win is a win. Every loss is a learning. So I think the child should always be a winner in the eyes of the parents. And that is where I also say that whenever one of the parent has time, should also go and be part of his, his game. Watch alongside when he's playing, because these are, and if he loses, never ever scold, never, because again मैंने जो बोला था, बच्चा दिल में रख लेता है, वो दिल में रख लेता है, वो बढ़ता रहता है, फिर वो आपसे छुपाता है. Then he or she needs a friend who he can share, and that's where he's lost the parents. And that we should never do. Again, I said, with time only the player will develop winning, the mentality which we are talking about, and the winning mentality only comes when you lose also. And when you lose, the idea is, again, I tell everyone, you have to give them a lot of games. So in a competitive environment, it means you give more games. You lose today, you'll win tomorrow, and you can only win tomorrow if you can play more. So the idea has to be, you give them more games, so that आज हारे हो कल जीतोगे. अगर games ही कम मिलेंगे तो competitiveness नहीं बढ़ेगी, और हार जीत पे बहुत ज्यादा importance दिया जाएगा.
Yes, like there are very prominent athletes such as Messi, Ronaldo, Virat Kohli, Mary Kom, or even Sachin Tendulkar. Like there's so many that we know of. Like it is not true that they have won every game that they had played in their life. They've also lost some, and that is what life is. That we learn to live with it, and as you said correctly, loss is a learning, win is a celebration. Why not? And on this note, Anuj sir and everyone, I would like to thank you all who have come together, and you are being one of the few uh, who know and realize that sports is very important in a child's development, in their well-being. Also, how we can ensure that safeguarding practices are communicated in sports as well, through the medium of sports. So Anuj sir, on this note, do you have any uh, few more things to share with us before we part ways?
No, I
Okay,
mean, I
ma'am.
just want, I
Sorry, I think we have one question. Sorry, sir.
yeah.
Sorry. Ji, sir.
Yeah, there is
Hi,
one
AK, sir.
question, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hi, ma'am. Good evening. There is one question which has been posted. It seems to be very important. If you can read out for him.
Which one?
May I read?
Yes, sir.
Sir, some parents and school authorities do not consider sports as important as studies.
Yes, sir. We have already discussed this. When Mr. Ashwini had asked us that,
Okay.
yes,
No, but I want to
yes,
answer again. I mean, I'll just
yes,
add to what I answered earlier, that that we don't need any authorities or any associations or any federations or anyone to decide, that playing is important or sports is important. Sir, मतलब मैं तो ये चाहता हूँ कि जो आजादी के बाद से लेके जब टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं आई थी, मतलब मतलब उस समय चीजें कम थी, पर हर चीज की वैल्यू थी. अब चीजें इतनी हो गई हैं, वैल्यू कम हो गई हैं. तो इसलिए मुझे लगता है कि हम अगर फिर से स्पोर्ट्स खेलने लग जाएंगे, आई थिंक वो सारी चीजें जिसकी वैल्यू है, एक हमारी एक अपब्रिंगिंग में, सोसाइटी में, एक जॉइंट फैमिली में, एक उस चीज में वो वापस आ जाएंगी. और मुझे ये भी लगता है आज के दौर में जो मिडिल क्लास फैमिलीज हैं, अब उनको कंपैरेटिवली वो टेंशन नहीं है कि पैसा, कि हमारे बच्चे पलेंगे कैसे. वो उनने अब सेविंग कर ली है, क्योंकि जो मेरे फादर की जनरेशन थी उसमें वो चीज में सिक्योरिटी नहीं थी. अब वो सिक्योरिटी आ गई है. जब सिक्योरिटी आ जाती है तो बच्चे की वेलबींग पे ज्यादा ध्यान दिया जाता है. तो सर, खेलना सर, खेलने से जब कोई बच्चा हमारा नाम रोशन करता है, वो अपने गांव का करता है, अपने स्टेट का करता है, अपने स्कूल का करता है, अपने परिवार का करता है, अपनी कंट्री के लिए करता है, वो उतना उतना एक्साइटमेंट, उतना जोश, और उस कम्युनिटी को जोड़ने का जो वो काम करता है ना, वो मैं सच से बोलूं, वो पढ़ाई भी नहीं करता है. पढ़ाई में ना आप अकेले जीतते हो, पर जब आप कोई स्पोर्ट्स में एक अकेला इंसान भी अच्छा करता है ना, तो कम्युनिटी जीतती है.
I
Yes.
completely agree with you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anuj sir, for making us feel so alive. But again, I would like to know any parting thoughts from you, sir. You know, there are, although you are based out of Delhi, Sudeva is based out of Delhi, but we have so many other schools and participants who have joined us across India. So how can they, you know, if they are interested in working with you or participate in the football academy, what is the way forward? And any parting thoughts also from your end, sir?
Well, we have now, my technical head is Nishant, and yeah, head of youth, you've already met, Steve. We
Ji,
have created a curriculum from the age of 4 to 19.
ji,
It is about 2000 sessions, covering 14 age groups in a year. So we will be, now we are working on making the videos. And then so idea is that we will be launching soccer schools already in Delhi NCR, and going forward in years to come, we'll be launching pan India academies in schools to run our curriculum. There is a curriculum which is during school hours, and there is a curriculum which we impart after school also. So
okay,
I think the bigger idea is that can we आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि मैं कोई मेसी बना दूंगा या कोई रोनाल्डो बना दूंगा, क्योंकि क्योंकि अगर जिसने मेसी बनाया था वो भी फिर से एक और मेसी नहीं बना सकता है, क्योंकि सिंपल है कि मैं फिर से कह रहा हूं कि हमने प्लेयर बनाने का सोचना नहीं है.
hmm.
हमने पहले एक हेल्दी कंट्री बनाने का सोचना है, और वो जब ही होगा जब सारे बच्चे कुछ ना कुछ खेलेंगे.
Yes,
तो वो अनफॉर्चुनेटली मैं सिर्फ एक ही स्पोर्ट में फोकस करता हूँ, क्योंकि मुझे इंडिया को वर्ल्ड कप पहुंचाना है. बट यस, उस स्पोर्ट्स के अंदर भी बहुत सारे स्पोर्ट्स मिले हुए हैं.
yes,
तो एक तो ये चीज है, और I'll be happy to launch soccer schools across the country, and or even train the trainers program, where you might have a PE teacher who
yeah,
wants to know more about football.
of
I'll be
course,
happy to, we are planning to launch Sudeva Alliance,
yeah,
where we might not have an academy in your school, but you have an alliance with us, so your teachers will be called to Sudeva to impart knowledge, so
yeah,
that these teachers can go back and use this knowledge.
yeah,
So this could be the second thing, but otherwise in total, um, मेरे तरफ से तो एक ही चीज है कि we have to believe in the future, and in order to believe in the future, we have to believe in every child's dream,
yeah.
and forget about our dreams. We have to work on their dreams, because if their dreams get successful, let me tell you, I think you'll have the best smile on your face.
Yes. Thank you so much, Anuj sir. I have been to your academy, and at that time, I trained all your players and all your coaches and all the staff, and that experience also was a little bit different because, unlike many other trainings, here the openness to safety, the well-being was there. And when I was leaving the academy, I was going back to my workspace. I saw all groups of children and young adults playing, and it just was a great start. And I'll come one day to watch one of your matches also. So
Uh,
thank you so much for joining us, and thank you everyone for being here, because you are one of those torch bearers, and you are one of those people who still believe that yes, sports is important for children, sports is important for our country, our well-being. And many a times you have enjoyed sport, whether it's cricket, whether it's hockey, whether it's athletics or any other sports, you name it. And we also are as a country are stepping into the future where the women also are very forcefully participating in sports. So thank you, Anuj sir. Thank you everyone who have
Thank you.
participated. We'll share a feedback form where all the questions will be there, and also we'll share the point of contacts number from the Sudeva Football Academy. So if in case any school leader wants to ask any question related to the academy, they can reach out to you directly. So
Perfect.
thank you so much, everyone. Have a good evening, and see you again in our next webinar. Thank you, Anuj sir.
Thank you. Thanks, Sunila.